So good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our third Tuesday at 2 Town Hall with KYSHAPE. Today, I have the honor of the unveiling and revealing of our new logo. So we decided in October of 2019 at the convention to change our name from CAPERD to KYSHAPE. So CAPERD has been in existence since 1909. The organization has been a great support to health, physical education, recreation, and dance professionals since its existence. So when we voted to change in October to align with our national, so in December of 2013, SHAPE America, which was formerly AFERD, the American Alliance for Health, Physical Education, Recreation, and Dance, changed its name to SHAPE America in December 2013. So one of our goals was to align our name with our national organization, but we also wanted to make sure that we kept our aspects of our history and to treasure that past that we have in honoring and serving those that we serve. So we wanted to make sure that we continued to include all of those entities of our past, all of our people. And so in doing that, we have come up with our new logo. And so as I reveal this new logo, or as Jamie reveals this new logo to us, I'm going to explain to you what it means. So Jamie, is it up yet? Ah, there we go. So there is our new logo. It is amazing. So I'm proud to present this new logo, which strategically includes our past, yet shapes our future. The red circle represents health, the yellow represents recreation, the blue represents the physical education, and the green represents dance. Our tagline is teaching students to thrive for life, which will help guide our future work, starting with today's town hall as we explore thriving in the Commonwealth, supporting all students with back to school transition. So you will now see our new logo on all of our social media sites. You will also see it in all of our correspondence. We will also send out something to you and to the membership on a further explanation on our logo. We are so proud of it and excited to move forward in the future of KYSHAPE. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Jamie, and Jamie will start our town hall, which is talking about supporting students with back to school transition. Jamie.
Great, thanks Robin, much appreciated. To frame today's conversation, we want to give some background in things that have happened in Kentucky over the past year. These things were important before COVID, but we realize with this program with Health.moves.minds, they're even more critical now during and as we navigate COVID around an emphasis in social emotional learning. So you're going to hear from a great group of panelists. But to frame our conversation today, we did make some national news this year. So Mimi Ratliff, who was recent, well, I guess it's not been recent too much, Mimi, but back in October, you were named the Health and Physical Education Director for Jefferson County Schools. So just to frame this, explain to us your backpack program and then why this decision was made to make Jefferson County the first large urban school district in America to sign on to get access to these resources.
Sure, Jamie, I want to thank you for having me. And yeah, it was October that I became the Health and Physical Education Instructional Lead for Jefferson County. Excited to take us into the future and bring in a lot of technology into how we are utilizing our instruction. And one of the things that Jefferson County has implemented is called the Backpack of Success Skills program. And that is a different way of allowing our students to demonstrate their learning. There are 5 components of the student's backpack. It's a virtual backpack that goes with them from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. That at 5th grade, at 8th grade, and at their senior year of high school, the students actually they give a presentation, a demonstration of their learning to move on to the next level. And we are super proud of the learning styles that this has brought into our school system. Much more authentic learning, student-driven learning, where students can really have control and partner with our educators to really control what they are showcasing as their differentiation of learning begins, even in kindergarten all the way up through the 12th grade. So as they defend their defenses of learning, as we said, 5th grade, 8th grade, 12th grade, you can really see the progression of learning. And what we realized with Health Moves Minds from the health and physical education lens is that the program and the free resources really allowed our health and physical educators to really embed these types of learning experiences into their instruction. So we were super excited to make this program available to all of our K-8 physical educators. It's free for them, and we encourage all of them, especially this year with the importance of integrating SEL into our daily instruction. I think this is a perfect opportunity for our educators to have such great resources at their fingertips.
Great, Mimi. We appreciate that very much. And as I said, we really wanted to frame it up. We knew these skills were important before COVID, but as we go into this, we know there's an increased focus. And so as a board and as a Health Moves Minds task force, we started looking at Health Moves Minds and thinking about what will the first 30, 45 days of instruction look like. And we realized we were already sitting on the perfect tool and resources to make that happen. And so today, Robin's going to introduce our panelists to us, and we got a great group of folks that have been involved in this program, that have been early implementers or involved in the board. And Angela and I were just on a call a few minutes ago with state associations, and they're really excited in watching Kentucky continue to lead this conversation about school transition and SEL. Robin?
Thanks, Jamie. So today our panelists include DJ Riggs, who is a PE teacher and a guidance counselor in Breckinridge County Schools. He's also one of our KYSHAPE board members. We have Katie Embry, who is just recently joined Warren County Schools. Katie left Fayette County and has now moved to Warren County and is teaching in elementary school, I believe, in Warren County. We also have Lindsay Krasansky, I think I said that correctly, who's in Bardstown Independent Schools. She teaches middle school there. And we have Angela Stark. And by the way, Katie is also one of our co-chairs of our Health Moves Minds task force for our board and for our state. And then we have Angela Stark, who is in Fayette County, who teaches at SCAPA in Fayette County, who is also one of our Health Moves Minds coordinators for our state. So all of these people are going to talk to you about this program and about how to transition back into school via Health Moves Minds program and social-emotional learning.
Thanks, Robin. I'm super excited to be here. And today our objectives are that you will gain a better understanding of social emotional learning and how to effectively implement through curriculum through Health Moves Minds. Secondly, the participant, you will gain a better understanding of the alignment between CASEL and SHAPE America national standards, especially standard 4 and 5. You will also be able to analyze and implement activities and concepts that facilitate the promotion of SEL. The last one is, this is what we're really excited about, that you will be able to learn ways to assist with healthy transition back to school for students and staff with Health Moves Minds. To you.
And we want to start with the definition of physical literacy. And so just to frame up how this program comes together in terms of a physically literate individual. And so we know through the national PE standards that Kentucky standards are aligned to those. And so just being very clear in the outcome, aligning PE and health national standards, the Kentucky academic standards, that physical literacy is the ability to move in competence and confidence in a wide variety, benefiting the healthy development of the whole person. Essentially what we're saying, and that's the reason we're doing some advocacy work this week, PE and physical activity are critical and are as a major catalyst into overall wellness and whole child development. And so when a child moves towards being more physically literate, then that only increases mental health, social health, and that connectedness and with SEL is very important. And that's what we'll take a deeper dive into with DJ explaining some of our CASEL alignments and other standard alignment.
When physical distancing is deemed necessary, social and emotional connectedness is even more critical. So that's from Karen Nemi, President and CEO of Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning, or CASEL. CASEL is the trusted source for knowledge and high-quality, evidence-based SEL. So when it comes to SEL, they're kind of a big deal. I was just saying, with physical distancing, kids are going to need that extra emotional help and that learning to be successful. So how does this benefit students? How is teaching SEL? Well, it benefits students because it gives them the tools and helps students face their challenges. Teaching SEL through health and PE helps students navigate the challenges. It promotes academic achievement and positive social behavior while reducing conduct problems, substance use, and emotional distress. These are put out in the reentry program put out by KDE. Talking about we need to do these type things. So it's saying with the kids facing COVID and everything else, there's a lot of stressors, unnecessary stressors that they're not used to, such as like exposure, illness, limited connection, limited support systems, lack of stimulation. There's all these different things, these stressors that they're coming in contact with. So what we need to do is, in schools, we can watch for these signs. There's signs for students and signs of this stress, both in staff also, such as for students being clingy, whiny, tearful, frightened, anxious, agitated. Like I said, there's a whole list of them there you can read. So what is SEL? Well, SEL is the process that people use to understand and manage their emotions. SEL enhances students' capacity to integrate skills, attitudes, and behaviors to deal effectively and ethically with daily tasks and challenges. So as you see on the picture there's 5 core competencies, and they can be taught in many different ways and settings. You have the orange, self-awareness and self-management, which relates to yourself. You have the green, which is social awareness and relationship skills, which helps relate to others. And you also have the yellow, which is responsible decision-making, which relates to your decision-making processes. I'm sure you can already see the overlap between PE and health standards with the core SEL competencies. Social-emotional learning processes are bulleted into 5 parts. Understand and manage emotions, which would go along with PE Standards 3, stress management. Set and achieve goals, which would go along with PE Standard 3, Health Standard 6, goal setting. Feel and show empathy, PE Standard 4, accepting differences. Maintain relationships, PE Standard 4 and 5, Health Standard 3, communication. And making responsible decisions, PE Standard 4, Health Standard 5, decision making. Through physical activity, we teach SEL skills that will benefit the healthy development of the whole child.
Yeah, DJ, and one of the things I just want to point out here too, and get your reflection as we go through this, and traveling the country and watching our teachers here like Katie and Angela implement this program, this is probably one of the key things with Health Moves Minds. It really elevates the role of physical education, because these are not new things to physical education, especially those who have been doing quality implementation. But it does highlight to administrators and counselors and other people the overall value of that cross interconnectedness around the national standards from PE and CASEL and the SEL. So I know you got some other slides coming up that'll show that connection, but I think that's one of the most awesome things is it really elevates our physical educators to be very specific with administrators on these skills that were important before COVID, even more important as we go back.
Really, as PE teachers, we've been teaching these skills. It's not something new. So how is SEL addressed in physical education? Well, we take our Kentucky standards, our national standards, and we use these to develop lessons that foster these things in responsible and personal social behavior, respect, and the value of physical activity in students. So we're building this. We're building these skills. The knowledge, skills, and confidence learned in physical education classroom not only allow students to enjoy a lifetime of physical activity, but also allow students to learn and refine social emotional skills. If you're familiar with national standards for PE, I'm sure you already see the overlap with the core SEL competencies. Because this is a beautiful overlap between SEL and national standards, SEL can be easily integrated into your PE classroom at all grade levels.
Thanks, DJ. That's a great overview of social emotional learning and why it's so important in our schools and how it meets all the standards. So Health Moves Minds, here's the website that you would go to, which is health.moves.minds.org. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how to, maybe if you, an optional fundraising element, which would be creating a team. Also, how to get the educational materials from this website a little later in this presentation. So.
And Angela, I just want to stress a point, and I just want to reiterate kind of what you said, and also back to Mimi's point, the fundraising component of this program is something that you're able to do, but it's not required. So the access and the resources and the lesson plans, these are free for any school that signs up and you get access. It's a brand new platform this year. So if you signed up last year, you do need to re-enroll because they've improved some things in the system. It was our first year of implementation. We have one slide at the end of this where we'll talk about fundraising, but the bulk of what we want to share is this is a free curriculum that we want to make sure that every school in the state's using.
Absolutely, Jamie. So the great thing about this program is, like, we're going to talk about education, the program materials, but we're also like how to, it's not just a in your PE class curriculum. This is your whole school community using these materials and the concepts around it. So educational material, there are 4 full lessons for K-8 PE. And then there's 5 mini lessons for grades 9 through 12. And they're broken down K2, 3 through 5, 6 through 8. And in middle school, there's 6 through 8 PE and 6 through 8 health lessons. And I've used both and I love them both. So there's assessments, there's worksheet templates. You can see some of them on the slide. The mindful minutes up here is a mini poster that you can put on your wall. There's an assessment. You can see K through 2 lesson 1. That's an assessment for that grade level. And then there's other supplementals. And the great thing is on every lesson, not only are there standards, there's also accommodations and modifications and ideas of how to make equitable groups. So we really the program, and there's so many elements, and they keep adding more to enhance this program. So like I said, every lesson has national standards, and you can see right here that National Health Standards, Standard 2, and also the SEL competencies, and then all the equipment you need. It lists it all out for you. So it's a very easy program for curriculum to pick up, look at. You know it's aligned with standards. You know how it can benefit your kids. You know exactly what you're going to need for that lesson. So it's well thought out. Over to you, Lindsay.
All right, thanks, Angela. So this is the Emoji rating scale. To the left, you'll see the elementary level, and then on the right is the high school version. It's just a great way to check in with students. It gives them time to focus on how it is that they're feeling, and it really creates that school culture, not just in your classroom, of like trust and caring, and it gives you an opportunity as well just to check in with your students who may be a 3 or a 5, or even if students are 1 or 2, it may give them an opportunity to spread the good vibes with the other kids. So if you notice that maybe someone is giving one of those numbers, like you can discreetly go with them like during one of the learning activities that you do and have like a one-on-one conversation with them. I know, like, especially with the middle school students that I have, when we're talking about emotional intelligence, it's just a great way to ask students to open up about their feelings, which can be very personal, but it's needed in a way to build that culture of trust, and just a great way to get started with it. And the emoji rating scale is a great way to begin this concept of self-awareness, and also one of the SEL core competencies. So it can be done discreetly where students just share like with the whole class, or if they don't feel comfortable, they can just hold up a 1, 2, 3, or 5, or in the high school version, you give students a sticky note and then they put it on one of the hearts. So it's very flexible with how you want to do it with your students. So over to you, Katie.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. I am having some major connectivity issues over here today, but so I have the, my favorite aspect of the Health Moves Minds program is to do the mindfulness and focus on self-awareness and teaching that to our kids. And so I had the mindful parachute activity, and basically what this does is it breaks it down for you as when you breathe in, you lift the parachute up. When you breathe out, you put the parachute back down. And this is representing your breaths coming in and out and phasing in and out with that. And normally when kids come in and they see the parachute, they are pumped. They're loud, they're ready for their activity, but this kind of gives you a whole new perspective on their favorite activity. And as far as some of the other extensions are popcorn thoughts, which is you're pretending your thoughts in your mind are the balls that you can throw onto the parachute. And you shake them and you talk about being mad, being sad, being overwhelmed. And you just stay still and you calm down and you watch the balls as they slow down. Here, I think, Jamie, you already pulled it up. There's Michelle Carter in the video, who is one of our Shape America members. She showed us the mindful pillowcase video, which is an adaptation of what you can do with this activity at home.
And Katie, I apologize. I don't think I set the Zoom up to live stream the audio from the computer, so we won't. But we'll have everybody will get access to this slide deck, so you'll be able to see that video, and we'll send that as a follow-up to everyone.
No problem.
Amy, is this a time that I could ask a question from Facebook?
Sure, sounds good.
Okay, so the question came from, wanted to know, like, in a PE environment, is this something that you would do with your kids every day or once a week? What have you found to be more effective?
I can jump into that. I did one activity for my intro each day in my middle school, and then for my elementary, I did once a week when I had them. The lessons are set up with like 4 parts to one lesson. So I would just take one element of each lesson. So it would go over like 16 weeks that I would do this, if that helps. But it's something that I also with my teachers to do. So a mindful minute that they could do in the classroom. So we would do a mindful minute before they left the gym every day, before they reset and went back to the classroom.
And one of the things that, and we'll share this in a little bit, but sort of what we envision for moving forward into school transition is that this program, the way we're going to divide it up a lot from the way it's been implemented to where there are more mini lessons, daily prompts. So we'll go into that in just a second. And that way classroom teachers, because we realize you're not, as a PE teacher, you're not seeing every kid in the building, especially when we go back to school knowing what the roles will be. We want to make sure that this SEL approach is something that's free and accessible for every single classroom teacher and person in your school building. And so we are working, and we'll show you an example of that in just a little bit. So we're showing you the way it's been implemented, but we'll also give you some examples of the way we see it being able to be utilized for the next upcoming school year.
Thanks, Jamie. So this is a middle school PE lesson called From Here to There, and you can see at the top how long it should take. I actually can try to do it in like 10 minutes. You can see the cues, the modifications, the checks for understanding. You can also see the blue writing is actually an example script. So if you don't feel comfortable and you don't know what to say, it's right there for you. And as I did this activity more and more, then I had my own script. I knew exactly where I wanted to go with it and my outcomes. So this is a fun activity. You actually have 6 groups, and you could do this outside. And each group had different amount of equipment. And basically the first group had like 2 poly spots, and the last group had like a whole bunch of equipment. And you tell the groups, you're trying to get from here to there without touching the floor. And so they try to do it. And the whole purpose of this lesson is to talk about diversity and how diversity and resources is a different type of diversity. So one group didn't have very much, so they struggled getting from here to there. But then one group was very successful because they had all these resources. And that's kind of, that's what happens in our schools. Often we expect everyone to go from point A to point B, but kids and teachers have different levels of resources, and the struggles that can create and how that's a different form of diversity. So I love this activity. It's one of my favorite. For me as a teacher, it also was like an aha to remember that, often like I said, we're asking our kids to do the same thing. It doesn't matter what the resources are at home or at school. We're trying to get everyone from here to there and with the same amount of stuff. So it was awesome. I love this activity. I think Lindsay's going to show you real fast one on health in middle school. Yes, so this is the first lesson. This is the Power Through Empowerment. It has one of my favorite learning activities and also one of my students' favorite ones as well. The learning activity is the snowball activity, but it really sets up beautifully and connects the concepts of like empowerment and analyzing influences. So empowerment is a process of becoming more confident. And when we're more confident, we can make healthier choices because we feel more secure in who we are as a person. And then analyzing influences is a skill that look at both like internal and external influences that might affect those health-related decisions that we're making every day. So it really connects beautifully for students when you're introducing that concept of analyzing influences and really defining what empowerment is and how it relates to being mindful. And then the next slide is the high school lessons. There are 5 mini lessons, and this first one is how it talks about how cell phone usage relates to being mindful. So you can have the kids do a screen time tracker app on their phone, or you can have give them like a log sheet to do manually. And even if students don't have a cell phone, that they most likely have a TV or a computer at home, and you can have them do that instead if students don't have a cell phone. But just getting kids to being like mindful of like how they're spending their time, especially when kids are learning to regulate their emotions, when you're teaching them mindfulness, just how to appropriately, help them make healthier choices. It's really, really great to see that those aha moments when you're just teaching those skills. So I think Jamie's got the next slide.
Actually, it's me, Lindsay. So these are pictures from my school. We did this in the fall, and I did a whole
couple weeks of it. But then we have the Health Moves Minds Spirit Week, and our Spirit Week was different. It was all about kindness. And so we had a random act of kindness day. We had a day where we made kindness rocks. We also, you can see on the right, upper right corner, there's it says be kind. We put bag tags on all the kids' bags so that it was just kind of spread through our school, a reminder about being kind. We had those, you can see Reese there with the Be Kind shirt on. We created shirts. We also had, we had a day where everyone wore name tags, and the whole point was to greet each other by names, because it's shown that if we greet each other by name, you feel more connected to your community and to your school. And so it was a great way to learn everyone's name, and a great way just to feel comfortable and welcome in our school environment. So we created a really super fun week. And so that's what these are. And it was one of my best weeks I've ever had as a teacher. I absolutely loved it. So I could go on and on about this week.
And so so what happened as we looked at our schools that had implemented, from Katie to Angela, Todd Crumbacker, he did a great job. Lindsay was another early implementer. And we got a lot of great feedback, and we realized that while this, at one side of it, was lifting up the PE teacher, the health teacher within the school environment, it certainly was helping to lift that overall health and wellness message across the entire school. So you're not just dealing with health and PE SEL, you're truly dealing with school climate and school culture in a more meaningful way. And this plays right into what we talked about with Dr. Kreisman last week. And so as he was laying out what he envisioned all school districts should be doing, little did he know we were already kind of working on what this new iteration of the next school year will look like. And so that leads us into kind of where the name for this first 30, 45 days looks at, and how we're going to use Health Moves Minds, how it connects to our new name. So that process, that campaign, so what you want to call it, Thriving in the Commonwealth. And the word thrive, as Robin said earlier, is a key word in our new tagline, because it's doing more than just teaching skills in health and PE. These are lifetime skills that kids need. And thrive is one of those strong, resilient type words. And what we're about to encounter in public education in this country, we've never encountered before. When you think about the barriers to learning and academics for our most at-risk students, that has only quadrupled in their lives. And so as we go back to school, we know that this has to be the cornerstone of our top priorities. Dr. Kreisman shared that last week, and that's what we want Thriving in the Commonwealth to be all about, supporting students in new and meaningful ways. So what we're beginning to do, and this is an example of one of those that we did at K-5 level. The top that you see on the screen, those are already visuals that were there for classroom teachers or PE teachers to use for implementing the lessons. But we're going to break apart the lessons to where you have a selection of daily prompts or discussion items that can be used to start each and every school day. And on the back of those, as we print these out, will be similar to what you see. Some of those, the first couple of those, come from the lessons. We're just dividing them up and allowing a classroom teacher. In Todd's case, he did it on the morning announcements every day. If we're in a hybrid version, it may be a YouTube that you post to your whatever your mode to reach students across your entire school community culture, classroom, virtual, TV. We want these to be conversation starters to help guide into really meaningful SEL outcomes. And so some of those are in the lessons, as you see at the top. And then others, if you look down, are ones that we're continuing to work with our cadre with, our task force, working with other states around COVID-specific questions. So when it comes to teamwork, what's it mean to be a team community safe? And what's that mean to be a team player? What's it mean for your community to come together and support each other during this time? And so really processing the world around our students, our communities, and our schools. So that's what this process will look like and how it will be daily discussion. Joe Geddes posted a question a second ago around school-wide what was the exact question around a school-wide during a certain class or block? And that's exactly, maybe it's not the morning announcement. Maybe it's a certain time of day. We're going to have the discussion prompts at K2, 3, 5, 6, 8, and high school. So all of them will be framed up to where they'll be easy to use. These are absolutely free and stuff that you can share to help equip classroom teachers and other school personnel around having, maybe it's a weekly theme, maybe it's a daily theme, but you'll be able to select from the prompts that fit the needs of your school and community based on this program, and that way there can be consistent themes, consistent conversations each and every day that are focused on elevating health, wellness, and SEL. I'm going to shoot it back to DJ to just to be specific on as we kind of the format of that crosswalk. So there is a crosswalk document that Shape America has. That's what's quoted on the screen. So I'll let DJ show you some concrete examples of that crosswalk document.
Okay, so as we talked about earlier, like PE is social emotional learning. A lot of times, being PE teachers, we do social learning all the time, even though we don't realize it. So Shape America created a crosswalk document where it ties and aligns the PE standards with the actual CASEL competencies. For example, here right now we have standard 4. The physically literate individual exhibits responsible personal and social behavior that respects self and others. Well, that aligns with the CASEL competency self-awareness. You actually look at the grade level outcome. It says accepts differences between personal characteristics and idolized body images and elite performance levels portrayed in various media. That aligns with the related skills of identifying emotions and accurate self-perception within the self-awareness competency. I said all standards 2 through 5 all align with the CASEL competencies and related skills. And here's another one, another standard 4. And it can align with empathy. That standard 5 can align with identifying emotions, self-perception, and recognizing strength. I said standards 2 through 5 all align with these competencies.
And as we said, we will have, we'll make these slides all available. We'll do that in a follow-up. If you registered, we'll also post it on our website as well. So you'll have a link to that, but that document is very easy to find on a Google search with that alignment document. So we appreciate DJ sharing that and that alignment as you reach out. And again, we appreciate DJ coming on because he's one of these people that is in a dual role with as a school counselor and a PE teacher. And that's certainly something that we see the value in this program is collaborating with your school counselor and other personnel that are there to support the emotional, mental needs of our students as they return. With this, we do want to, this is the only slide we have on the fundraising component. And so we want to share with you some of that. And again, when you sign up for the program, this program is very different than any other program you've done in the past. First of all, you get the most back always. And so while some of these number percents may be confusing, it's always about getting you back more money. And so that's a good problem to have in the breakdown of the different incentives and timelines. And we believe holistically in this program. The big transition from the American Heart and the former Jump Rope program, the state association got 5% back. The national association got 5% back. You got a gift card back. Students got some trinkets, and the American Heart Association kept the rest of the money. Great program, great cause. Health Moves Minds is a much different program than that. This program makes sure that your students are the greatest need and cause in the world. So therefore, when you do a fundraiser, they get the most back. So option 1 on doing the fundraising is that your school gets half the money back. If you choose to keep the half, go for actually the national partner on this, vendor on this. They'll give you a 10% bonus. So you keep 60% of the funds at all times if you do that. However, we also know because of COVID and the economy that the fundraising thing is pretty challenging at this point. We also know that there's a lot of awesome nonprofit associations that work and serve our students in our communities. This program, you can choose any 501c3 nonprofit entity to partner with. So in that case, your school would keep 25% in the form of gift cards, gift certificate. A local nonprofit would keep 25%. We know of the 160, 70 schools that implemented last year, 60% chose a local nonprofit. So teaching kids the value of philanthropy. If you want to partner with your Family Resource Youth Service Center, if there's other causes in your community, you can partner. If you want to partner with your own PTO, if they are a registered 501c3, you have that option. And so that's between you and your school as far as if you choose to do the fundraising component, what it looks like. There is a couple of incentives. We give free membership for any school that signed up. So you've seen that going out, and continue to learn about the program and implementing the program. If you sign up before July 31st, Gopher does have an additional bonus. They will give you an additional 5% if you raise $2,000 by the end of the year. So now your number's up to close to 65%. I say close to 65 because Angela and I just got corrected on this a while ago. It's 5% of your total gift card you're getting. So it's not quite the whole 65%. But again, the point is you raise $2,000, you're getting even more money back but this year because of when you sign up. And then as Kentucky, we're the only state doing this. The 15% we would normally get back as a state association, if you implement and do your program, you get to keep 15. We don't keep anything. We're not here to make money. We got a long-term plan for this program. It will be very vital to our future. But right now, we want you to keep the most funds. Katie Embry, for example, she's our #1 school. I think she raised close to $8,000 last year. That meant that she got $1,200 in professional development. She was getting to go to Salt Lake City National Convention for absolutely free. Obviously, that convention didn't happen, so we're going to roll her money over for another future event. But that 15% is a bonus that comes back to you in the form of professional development. So again, this is a teacher-centered program in every element, from the curriculum to the fundraiser piece, and that's the reason it's such a game changer.
Can we get Katie to answer the question that's on Facebook? The question's about what is sold for the fundraiser, or what type of event is hosted. Can you talk about what kind of the event? I know you didn't sell anything. Can you explain how that is so much different than a normal, like people who sell cookie dough and candles and things like that? Can you explain how you kind of laid that out for your kids?
Yeah, sure, Robin. So basically what we did at the school that I serve, I was a Title I school in Fayette County is where I held the event. And basically what we did is we kind of set a goal as a community. We were like, what is something that we really want that we don't have? So we chose to raise money for a rock wall instead of, the trinkets and those things, and to keep up with that in a giant headache spreadsheet. So what we did was we set like a loose goal of about $5,000. So you're like, that's pretty much standard for us for a American Heart Association year. And I was like, well, since we're doing this, we're going to try this. So basically what we did is I asked community members, and I hosted a family fitness event. So after school, I let any family who wanted to come, and the kids, and basically we just did like an additional PE class, something we would do every day just to expose the parents, kind of like you bring your parent to PE. We've done that as well, but this was additional event for Health Moves Minds. And what we did is we did the mindful parachute activity, and we practiced a mindful minute together, and we explained the importance of that. And honestly, this was more successful than I ever would have dreamed. So again, it was basically just, hey, this is our cause. We want to hang this rock wall as a symbol of this event and of how, being mindful is going to move your body. It is also going to encompass all of those components of our health-related fitness. So seeing that rock wall was our visual, really, for our fundraising effort. So the kids bought into it, our community bought into it, our teachers bought into it. And one incentive that I did create was if a kid raised $200 or more, I would let them spend an hour and be my assistant for an hour a day. And they love that. And honestly, it was a leadership opportunity for them as well, for the students who raised that $200 or more, and they ate it up. So yes, you do kind of want to keep track of who donates what in a spreadsheet, but you don't have to keep up with who gets this for this $15 reward, who gets this for this $50. They do get a $25 t-shirt incentive that's online, so that takes care of itself for you. But honestly, like I said, this is a game changer. It was so refreshing and a game changer for me to do something different. You know, and like I said, I love the American Heart Association too. Great fundraiser. But I just wanted to do something for our school to keep the money in-house instead of giving it all away in a sense.
Yeah. And to frame that specific, Robin, because you gave a great lead in there in comparison, if Katie's school, they raised about $8,000, that means she got back about $6,500 total. If she'd done cookie dough, she'd sold $8,000 in cookie dough, her school might have got back $1,500. When you look at the percent of margin on cookie dough and candles and other things, you may raise a lot of money, but you're not getting very much back. And so that's the big shift in how much the school gets back. And in addition, it supports your state and national association as well. So it is a big shift that takes the trinkets away as well. So you're not having to do that. So those that have done it, there's a lot of flexibility to what kind of program you do. But Katie, Todd, and Angela were all very specific in having a goal. So when you're asking kids for donations, right, you're not telling kids when you sell a $10 thing of cookie dough that we're only getting $1.50 back. You can be very specific in saying 70% of this money is coming back to us for our walk wall or whatever our goal is. I think Angela had a specific goal and some incentives as well.
Yeah, and Jimmy, your event can look, the great thing about this program is if you choose fundraising, your event can look however you want. So my school had always done a jogathon, so we just kept it at jogathon because that's what we've always done, and we just connected the two. And I know Todd Crumbacker did a different type of event. So you can make this whatever you want, family fitness night. And so it's just awesome because it gives you that flexibility to make it work for your school.
And I'll add in too, this Health Moves Minds gave my school and myself an opportunity to raise more than, $300 that we would get back in a gift card. For the first time ever, I was in a position where I could purchase a rock wall. So we raised $8,000, which was more than our goal. And the rock wall was about $4,500. So we've got even a little extra to play with, and we got the rock wall, which was awesome.
Great. And then there's a question on the change in register from 50 to with the community to share. I'm not sure that, Joe, can you restate that? I'm happy to answer that, but I'll continue to monitor that. And we do have a comparison sheet that we've created. We need to finalize some graphics on it now that we have our new logo and some things. So if you're interested, all we encourage you to do is compare apples to apples. If you're interested in a fundraiser for the fall, there's a lot of incentives and things. We'd be happy to walk you through it. Another thing people love about this program is if you sign up, I promise you, Angela Stark will never show up at your superintendent's door or knocking on your principals and asking you when you're going to do the program. This is built for teachers and by teachers, all right? This is ran through the state association. If you want to do the fundraiser, we're here to help. Otherwise, we'll send out some incentives and other things. You're never going to have anybody aggravating you or anybody associated with your school or district to implement. This is between you and your kids if it's a program that fits your needs.
Joe changed the question or just said, can you change your options, like from option 1 to option 2 or vice versa? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, if you do one, if this is your question, if you pick option 1 this year, you can do option 2 next year, or you can, flip them back and forth. Or if you get the thing with starting your fundraiser, if you choose a local nonprofit, then the process to get that approved does take a little bit longer. So, start that conversation now. If you know that you want to partner with a local nonprofit, there is some paperwork you have to submit because we got to make sure the lines and they're IRS approved and all those sorts of things. That's done through the Shape America office. But if you need to switch it or it doesn't work out, then you're welcome to. But yeah, there's just some logistics to work out on which one you do.
So here's some resources from today. The first resource on here is the Health Moves Minds website that we showed you earlier. Then how it's part of the school environment can help account of effective trauma. And we'll send out this presentation, and these are all links. And then the CASEL core competencies and the SEL crosswalk that DJ went over will all be on this presentation. And if you have any questions, here are mine, Katie's, and Lindsay's emails. We are all working on the prompts for teachers for you to utilize in your schools. We'll help you envision this however you want going into the fall, no matter what the learning looks like. I actually did some lessons, K2 lessons, at the beginning of quarantine that you can do these Health Moves Minds lessons at home, and you just adjust them a little bit so you can still send them out through virtual learning for your students. So we can help you take all these and bounce ideas off each other in order to make this really an important part of transitioning back to school for your kids and your staff, because staff SEL or social emotional health is also really important.
Great. Thanks, Angela. The last screen here, we'll continue to monitor the chat, but if you have your phone out, we did do the QR code again for this week. Actually, I think this week's QR code will actually take you to a form just so we have a better record of who's requesting the PD certificates, and making sure as districts check with us that we validated participation. And that there's always an archive on our website. In just a minute or two, as I leave that up here for a second, I'll show you where the archives are at. So anytime you can go back and access the archives, but you can download your PD certificate for today by using the QR code or using the link once we send it out as well. Next week, Tuesday at 2 Town Hall, will be with National Health Teacher of the Year, Miss Jessica Napier. Jessica, of course, is from Lee County. She's going to be joined by our health education cadre. So next week is going to be a Zoom meeting because they're going to be using breakouts. So middle school, elementary, high school, we will all have some overview that we'll do with the cadre, and then they're going to be facilitating it in breakout groups. So you'll notice on the registration for next week, it requests what grade band you teach in or what your primary grade subject levels, topic level, grade levels you teach in. And so that's the reason why next week, so we are going to have some smaller group breakout. And the health ed cadre, they have some phenomenal additional PD opportunities planned as well. So they're excited to share those with you and moving ahead. Robin, any additional questions coming in from Facebook?
There was a question about discussions in the breakout rooms for next week. Mimi wanted to know what they be discussing in the breakout rooms.
That is, I missed the run through today, so I'm not exactly sure what their prompts are, but it's a continuation from, it's all around health education and reentry consideration specific towards health ed. So
it looks like Jessica Lawrence is answering that. And then the other question was, do the gift cards, gift certificates that you get for raising money during Health with Minds expire?
There is no expiration date. So all the money comes back to the school in the form of gift certificates with the Gopher. And the other nice thing about that is you're not limited to Gopher's normal catalog. There's a lot of stuff they have in their catalog, but you also can choose from the sport performance. So if you're working with a sports team, all their higher end sports equipment. They also have a STEM catalog. They have an active classroom, and then also Spark. So they have a pretty exhaustive portfolio of things that you can use the gift cards on, from flexible classroom seating to STEM activities. So it's not, so as your principal looks at it, it's health and PE wellness centric, but there's certainly some other things that would be whole child focused as well. All right, I'm gonna stop share really quick on that. And really quickly, just for those that are still watching, let me pull up our website and I'll go back to a share screen on here just so you see it, and then we'll close this screen out. The website will be getting a makeover very soon with new logos and everything. So Robin revealed that at the beginning of this one, but we'll be getting a makeover coming out. Events, virtual professional learning, Tuesdays at 2 town halls. You scroll to the bottom of the page. There you see registration for the next 2 weeks. And then at the very bottom of this page is where you'll see the YouTube archives, as well as the PD certificate forms. So if you're watching after the fact, you can always go back and watch it on YouTube. And then we are able to track metrics by YouTube based on logins, and then you complete your certificate. So that's already posted. And then once this particular one you're watching is archived, the link will be right here. Any other questions, Robin?
I don't see any.
Awesome. Well, stay tuned for updates from our Health Moves Minds task force. Please reach out to Angela, Katie, or any of our other members if you have questions. Shoot us an email. We'd be glad to connect with you. And, you know, despite the significance of what lies ahead, we're going to continue to work on critical parts of health and PE and supporting our profession. And Robin, you want to tell a little bit about what we're doing Thursday and what they can expect coming up in July as far as the PE and videos for physical distancing?
Sure. On Thursday, a group of us will try to get together and attempt to create some mini lessons or mini videos on what this transition back would look like. And so giving you some examples of concrete of what safe social distancing in-person PE would look like. And so we'll do some things maybe on just how to, some activities you could do in the beginning of the school year, some procedures, routines, and things that you could do to try to help your classroom function in this COVID world. And so we're looking out for those. We're going to try to get those together for you as soon as possible, and then possibly also use those as part of advocacy for your program, saying that PE is a safe place for your students to be and still be able to engage in learning during this time. It's important that kids still are engaging not only in the social emotional learning piece, but getting the other M, which is their moves, involved in. So we want to try to be able to be a help to the field as far as being able to what PE looks like now in this post-COVID world. So we'll be trying to put those videos and ideas together for you.
Awesome. Thanks, DJ, Angela, Katie, Lindsay, Mimi. We appreciate you coming and sharing your expertise with us. We look forward to continuing to work with you. And thanks, everybody, for joining us today. Have a great day.